at Lake Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. It's the 1963 Diamond Cup Hydroplane Classic. And after Saturday's racing, we're down to 3 final heats today. Heats 2A and 2B, and the final heat, Heat 3, in which the highest .6 boats will go. Looking back at Saturday's racing, we had actually only one real hot-going race, and that one lasted for 2 laps. That was the second of the 3 heats, Heat 1B, in which Miss Bardall and Miss Thriftway were matched so well until Miss Bardall simply blew its engine apart, and that was the end of that. But we had some boats that don't generally pile up great point totals doing just that in the Saturday racing. Now, in Heat 1A, for instance, we had Miss Exide, the winner, with Mira Slovak driving and picking up 400 points. Tahoe Miss with Chuck Thompson ran second. The third-place boat was Miss Eagle Electric, the former Miss Spokane. And in fourth place was Tempest with Chuck Hickling. In fifth place was Fascination, Bob Gilliam driving. In Heat 1B, it wound up with only 3 boats finishing out of a starting field of 4. Miss Thriftway was the winner, and that was the one in which she had the fine duel with Miss Bardall. Dollar Bill with Norm Evans came in second, and the only other boat to finish was Tempo, with Bob Schroeder finishing in third spot. In Heat 1C, it was Notre Dame, Lieutenant Colonel Warner Gardner, the driver, after Gale 5 conked out in the third lap. And only one other boat finished out of the starting field of 4 there. That was Fascination 1 with Bob Gilliam, as both Mariner 2 and Gale 5 started but did not finish. As we say, the one real good race of Saturday was for 2 laps between Miss Bardall and Miss Thriftway in Heat 1B. Now let's get ready for Heat 2A, coming up in just a moment. And in Heat 2A, we have Miss Exide, which already has 400 points, Mira Slovak, the driver, and should be the favorite going in. Also running will be Dollar Bill with Norm Evans, which has 300 points. Miss Eagle Electric with Rex Manchester has 225. Tempo with Bob Schroeder has 225. Tempest with Chuck Hickling has 169 points. And the 6th boat in the race will be Fascination with Bob Gilliam with 127 points. That's the field in Heat 2A. In just a moment, we'll get on with the race. All set for Heat 2A, and here they come, milling around at the south end of the course with less than 30 seconds to go before the start of 2A. Exide, Dollar Bill, Eagle Electric, Tempo, Tempest, and Fascination are in it. And it's a very good shape-up, with several boats having a chance to be across first. We'll just wait and see. Exide is in there, Eagle Electric, 6 boats with Fascination trailing, and coming down on the inside to take the lead is Miss Exide. It is a legal start. Miss Exide was the leader, and 3 boats were dead even in second place, with a 4th boat in there and Fascination trailing in 6th. This is a 6-boat race, and the spray is terrific as they head into that first turn. Now the critical time to see who comes out of it first. That's so important. Miss Exide had a pretty good lead, and Miss Exide is going through the turn and coming out of it first. Tempest is in there. Tempest is running in second place. Dollar Bill is in there. So is Tempo. And Miss Eagle Electric, followed by Fascination, in that order. Now they start to string out a little bit as they go up the back chute with Miss Exide, Mira Slovak driving, doing a great job, and he picked up 400 points in Saturday's racing, so has a real good shot at maybe going for 800 in this one. Up the back side, it's Exide, Tempest, Dollar Bill, Tempo, Eagle Electric, all spaced evenly out, maybe 400 feet apart. Into the second turn of lap 1 now, and Mira Slovak has his boat running pretty well. It's got a lot of power. Its riding characteristics are not always the greatest. It's a new boat, and they haven't got it squared away yet completely with its riding. Tempest is having a rough go through that south turn, left turn, and Slovak really went way up on one spotson as he straightened away for the run down the home chute, but he's in good shape now. The boat will do a lot of bouncing, as you'll see. The water's a little bit choppy, but conditions are neat, well-nigh perfect on this final day of the Diamond Cup. Here is Miss Exide coming down to be number 1. Across the line now, followed by Tempest. Number 2 is Tempest. And Tempest cannot catch Exide at the moment, but he's opened up a gap, and now here's a good race for third and fourth. Almost dead even. Dollar Bill is third, and Tempo is fourth, and Eagle Electric now comes up to challenge both, and Eagle Electric apparently will go into third place instead of fifth place. Fascination is just across in sixth place. Meantime, we're in the first turn of lap 2, and it's Miss Exide still in the lead. And moving up to challenge, we have a real good race now for third and fourth, by the way. And Tempest has come out of that turn in pretty good shape again, so Chuck Hickling did not lose his advantage. Tempo has gone back into contention, and now Dollar Bill and the Lilac Lady, Miss Eagle Electric, are having a pretty good go-around in that fourth and fifth spot area. Up the backside, a real good race between Dollar Bill and Tempo. Tempo is leading at the moment as the boats are starting to string out pretty well. Miss Exide, by the way, they've been running about 96, 97 miles an hour on the first lap. They're in the second turn of lap 2. This is Heat 2A, being run on Sunday, second day of the Diamond Cup. Here's the head end of the race. Miss Exide with Mira Slovak. He has led from the opening gun. Coming down the home chute now in pretty good shape with still a lot of bouncing, however. And he's opened up pretty good gap over the second place boat, Tempest, with Chuck Hickling. Slovak, the lean check is across. This time running about 93 plus miles an hour. And Chuck Hickling is pouring it on a little bit more to perhaps try to make some kind of a challenge in second place. Tempest still second. Now Tempo is in third place. And Miss Eagle Electric is fourth. Running fifth is Dollar Bill. And way back, completing the field, Fascination in sixth. That's the way they're running after 2 laps. Not a fast race, but then Slovak has not had to push his boat. This is not the one with all the fast boats in it. That will be Heat 2B with Gale, Bardol, Thriftway, and Tahoe Miss. And oh boy, Slovak had a rough time coming out of that corner. A lot of fishtailing and swerving, but he's got it under control again. It's a little tough boat to handle in this, its first year of campaigning. It's still Slovak and Hickling in the 1 and 2 spots. Miss Exide running first and Tempest running second. Now back to the third place boat. The third place boat is still Tempo with Bob Schroeder driving. And Miss Eagle Electric with Rex Manchester, the Inland Empire home favorite, is trying to make some kind of a challenge again, but not able to do too much on that backside. Then after Eagle Electric, it's Dollar Bill. And way back in the rear, a half a lap behind the leader, is Bob Gilliam in his own Fascination. Now the lead boat is coming off the second turn of lap 3, and it's still Miss Exide, which has led all the way so far. Chuck Hickling trying valiantly to stay with him, and Chuck saving a little bit of ground on the inside. But here's Slovak, headed down the straightaway. Still a lot of bouncing and walking on the sponsons. We'll get the approximate speed for you here. Not too rapid. 92 plus miles an hour unofficially. Now Tempest is across in second place. Some 800 feet behind the leader. Another 1,000 feet or more behind. In third place is Tempo. And that's a pretty good driving job by Bob Schroeder in that 4-place boat. That can handle 4 passengers and still go at about 140 miles an hour on the straightaways. And has done that earlier in this week. Now Dollar Bill is coming across the line, still running in 5th position with Fascination trailing in 6th. At least all the boats have stayed moving. Up the backside goes the lead boat, Miss Exide. Still, no boat has been able to make a real challenge to Mira. So if he can keep it running, he's in good shape to get the 400 first place points. Boat noise in front of us right now is Bob Gilliam in Fascination, a half a lap behind the leader. Chuck Hickling stays within reaching distance, but not real close reaching distance. However, there's a much bigger gap between second and third place, and Hickling trying his darndest to pull up on the leader, Slovak in Miss Exide. This will be the completion of lap 4 as they come off the left turn. There you get a good look at the two boats that have been 1 and 2 all the way. The white Tempest going to the outside, still running number 1 is Miss Exide. Miss Eagle Electric, by the way, has gone out of the race and is sitting off the left turn. There's Exide across, still running number 1 with 1 lap to go, and Tempest still about 800 feet behind, running in the number 2 spot. That time he had the speed up to about 94 plus miles an hour. Running third is Tempo with Bob Schroeder coming across the line just now. Miss Eagle Electric has gone out in the previous lap, and we have 2 more boats still running. Dollar Bill running 5th and Fascination running 6th and last. Or 6th in the 6-boat field, but it's 5th right now among the boats that are still running. Okay. The head end of the race still finds Exide and Tempo running 1-2, and the gap has not narrowed appreciably. Slovak has been able to keep his distance, and Chuck Hickling may be satisfied to settle in there and go for the 300 points. Remember that Miss Exide had 400 off Saturday's racing. Tempest had just 169 points in yesterday's racing, the Saturday racing, that is. The boat noise in front of us is Fascination at the end of lap 4. And he has 1 more lap to go. The lead boats, the 2 of them, Exide and Tempest, only have a third of a lap to go. They're into the turn now, last turn of the race. Tempest has closed up the distance appreciably, as you can probably see, but whether it's close enough and whether he can get his acceleration up on the final straightaway is debatable. Well, here comes Slovak off that turn. The checkered flag is going out, ready to wave him into 400 points if they can keep his boat going this last distance. Hickling swung wide and will have a shot at it, but he's not going to be able to catch him unless the boat goes sour in a big hurry. Here comes Miss Exide down the line for another 400 points. That's it, getting the checkered flag. Now here's the number 2 finisher. Nice race driven by Chuck Hickling and Tempest. And way back in third place will be Tempo, but a nice even performance there by Bob Schroeder in that boat, which is kind of a combination of a Detroit and Florida boat. There's the Tempo across, completing her 5th lap. 2 more boats are running. Miss Eagle Electric is out of it. Off to the side near the left turn. And coming down to finish will be Dollar Bill, followed by the last boat, Fascination, to take the 5th place. This is Dollar Bill, driven by Norm Evans, the old Chelan Flash. And here's your final finisher, about to come down for the last straightaway run. This is the blue-green boat, and you saw him take quite a bounce off to one sponson, but he stayed in one piece. And here comes Bob Gilliam trying to pour it on for the barge audience as he gets up a little better speed for the final run at it. And so be it for Heat 2A. We had the finishers in this order: Exide, Tempest, Tempo, Dollar Bill, and Fascination. Now it's time for the race everybody's been waiting for. This is Heat 2B. We've just had the 1-minute gun, and the boats start to go up to the left end of the course from us to shape up for the start. And here's the way they'll match up. Miss Thriftway, which has 400 points. Notre Dame, which has 400 points. Tahoe Miss, which has 300. Fascination 1 with 300 points. And the 2 boats that have 0 points at the moment, Bardol and Gale 5, and both of those are hot ones. This is the real hot race, at least going in. That's the way it shapes up. Now remember, we've had Miss Exide with 800 points so far, Dollar Bill with 469, Tempo with 450, Tempest with 469, and so it's very doubtful that Bardol and Gale can qualify for the 3rd heat. Here the boats come down for the start, and Miss Thriftway is going to get a good start. There's the gun. They're way behind, so it's a legal start, and Miss Thriftway takes the lead, followed by Tahoe Miss, Gale, Notre Dame, and Bardol is running sickly. Bardol is completely out of it. Ron Musson does not have a boat that'll go, and here he comes sputtering down in front of us. And he's going to pull to a dead halt, it looks like, almost in front of the barge. He's trying to restart it, however. Meantime, the boats are down in the first turn and going through it. Coming out first is Tahoe Miss. Tahoe Miss. Where's the Thriftway? I can't find the Thriftway. There goes the Thriftway on the outside. He came out of the spray and now passes Tahoe Miss going up the backside, but Chuck Thompson in Tahoe is doing a grand job of hanging in there. And Notre Dame is in third place. A real good duel up the back chute as Bardol has come to a dead stop right in front of the barge on the home side. Oh, that Tahoe Miss is really rocking on the sponsons and jumping, and look at Thompson take Muncie on the inside. Thompson has come up on the inside to get that pole position, and now Muncie and Thriftway is lost in the spray on the outside as they go through that south or left turn. He's actually opened up 100 or 200 feet in the lead, but here comes Muncie as you see him coming to the outside, and he'll pour it on. This could be a real good two-boat race, but unfortunately Bardol, which should have given all these boats a run for their money, just didn't make it, barely crossed the starting line, and that's been it. Okay, look at them come, head and head down the chute. On the outside, closest to us is Muncie and Thriftway, and he goes to the lead now. And in the spree, in second place is Tahoe Miss. Tahoe Miss is second. Notre Dame is running third and way behind, and now Tahoe Miss has pulled into the infield. So all of a sudden, we've lost boats all over the place. That, by the way, was a lap run at almost 107 miles an hour by the lead boat Muncie and Thriftway, but Tahoe Miss has pulled into the infield. We have Bardol and Tahoe out of it. Warner Gardner goes by in front of the barge on Notre Dame, and he's a third of a lap behind the lead boat, Miss Thriftway. We had him drop out all over the place. Fascination evidently never got started, and looking all over the course, we have boats. Gale is dead in the water. There's the Bardol as we see Ron Musson getting up out of the cockpit. And suddenly, Bill Muncie, all he has to do is keep his boat going for the easy 400 points. Warner Gardner in Notre Dame is not getting near the power that he did in Saturday's racing. Gale 5 is dead and not racing. Bill Cantrell is standing up on the bow of the Gale over as Notre Dame just went by it. Meantime, up at the left turn, Bill Muncie running all by himself in the Persimmon and White. Miss Thriftway has a real good chance to come in with that 800 points. If he gets it, he will tie, of course, Miss Exide, and that would set up a potentially good race in the third heat between those two old rivals, Slovak and Muncie, Exide and Thriftway. Here comes Bill, finishing his second lap. Thriftway it is with a monumental lead, and who knows, he might be able to go around and lap the only other boat that's still running. Well, this is a disappointing turn of events, obviously, for the crowd. We had all the hot ones in it. We had Thriftway, Tahoe Miss, Bardol, Gale 5, and after one lap, we lost 3 boats, and in the second lap, we lost Chuck Thompson and Tahoe Miss, and boy, he was really making a race out of it for a while. As it is now, it's still Thriftway and Notre Dame, and one of them will get 400 if it finishes, and the other one will get 300 if it finishes. And it's certainly unfortunate about the great boat Bardol, which has, of course, been the winner of the Guntersville Unlimited race, and also the Classic at Detroit, the Gold Cup. Well, our camera follows Bill is getting a real fine ride in Miss Thriftway up the backside. He is on lap 3. We have no way of knowing, of course, what happened to some of these boats, and now we may have Notre Dame out of it. Is Notre Dame out of it? Notre Dame died on the left turn up in the area where Thriftway is right now. So we have what they would call in horse racing a walkover. All the horse has to do is come out, completes the circuit of the track and wins all the money. So we will have an awarding of 400 points for Thriftway if he completes the 5 laps, and no other boats will score points, which makes for an interesting situation and sets up the fact that, of course, the 6 boats with the top points will go in the 3rd heat. Heat 2B did finish in a walkover for Bill Muncy. We've taken our cameras away from that particular heat because it was just a 1-boat parade the rest of the way, with Thriftway picking up 400 points and a total of 800 going into what we're now approaching, Heat 3, the final 3 of the day, the final heat of the day, with these boats as the top 6-point scorers in it. Miss Thriftway, Muncy driving with 800 points. Tied at the moment with Miss Exide. There's the 1-minute gun, by the way. Miss Exide has 800, driven by Mira Slovak, the flying Czech. Dollar Bill with 469 points, and Norm Evans driving is in it. Tempest with 469 points. Chuck Hickling driving is in it. So is Tempo with Bob Schroeder, 450 points. And Notre Dame with Colonel Warner Gardner, 400 points. It might be interesting to point out that all Thriftway or Exide would have to do to win the overall race would be to finish, complete the 5 laps. The question is, will both stay in it, and will it be a race between the two? One has to beat the other to win the overall race. If neither one finishes, then another boat can win it, because the boats that have more than 400 now could bypass the 800 mark. And now they're coming down for the starting gun. And good position by Mira Slovak and Bill Muncy, and they'll cross together in that order. Miss Exide and Thriftway, and Warner Gardner on the inside. And Tempo, and trailing is Dollar Bill, and Tempest just ahead of Dollar Bill. It was a legal start. It's perfectly okay. And now we go down into the first turn. And the first boat to poke its nose out of the spray is Miss Exide, with Slovak driving on the inside. He's out in front of Muncy, who is lost in the spray, but close on the heels, actually, of Miss Exide. Thriftway is on the outside. Mira Slovak has that boat charging pretty well, though. That's Miss Exide in the lead. Notre Dame is saving ground on the inside and is visible, but you can't see Miss Thriftway, was hidden in the spray on the outside. Up the back chute, Slovak really has that boat pouring it on, and you can't see Miss Thriftway for the spray, but it's in there, just 100 feet or so behind Miss Exide. And they are starting to lengthen out away from the rest of the boats in the heat. It's still Miss Exide leading, with Thriftway second. And Warner Gardner again saves ground on the inside in Notre Dame as they go into that turn. Running in 4th position is Tempo and Tempest, and Dollar Bill bringing up the rear. Coming off the turn, an important part of the race. Muncy goes to the outside, and they're skidding awfully close together. And Muncy may have taken some spray there in Rooster Tail. He surely did, but he's coming wide and has good speed up, and now may charge past Slovak. This is a great part of the race. And Thriftway has gone to the outside and has taken the lead. Thriftway will come down with the lead, apparently, but not much. And he's trying to cross over in front as well. Thriftway and Exide in that order. And they're running about 104 plus miles an hour. The Exide has blown up. Exide has cracked up. And they've stopped the race. And the boat is sinking. The boat is sinking. The flares have stopped it. This Exide has cracked up. Mira has gone into the water. There goes another driver. Bob Schroeder may be looking for him. Trying to look and see if we can spot Mira. Notre Dame is over there. Colonel Gardner has gone in the water after Slovak. And Miss Exide is unfortunately in a sinking condition and may not last very long. You can see the bits of foam and everything. It happened just 500 feet past the finish line. And we're trying to look for the helmets. There are 2. Yes, there are 2 helmets. Colonel Gardner, and the boats are over there after them. Well, it finally happened after smooth races. There's Slovak kind of on his back, and we certainly hope he's all right. There are more skin divers in the water after him. The surface boats are there. Well, it was a real charge down to the down on the finish line. Muncy and Slovak charging away, and all of a sudden there wasn't any more Exide. It just almost disintegrated as the Seattle 2 did with Dallas Sarts in Seattle a year ago. Not quite as spectacular as that, but nevertheless, you can see the boat has pieces all over, and there is nothing substantial floating anymore. The main part of the hull, along with the engine and all the heavy equipment, has gone down to the bottom of Lake Coeur d'Alene. Now, one of the patrol boats is trying to pick up the skin diver there, or is that, could be Colonel Gardner. At any rate, I see. Colonel Gardner is trying to balance the boat, evidently, as they pick up Slovak from the other side. Our cameras are following it, of course, and if there's to be more racing, there will be a restart of the heat, but this is something yet to be determined. Colonel Gardner came by in Notre Dame and immediately slowed his boat to a halt, dived in the water after Slovak, and got to him. He spotted him. And Mira, who has been involved in many accidents, is in another one. And evidently he's in that patrol boat that is heading in toward the pit area. And we'll just have to wait for the report on Mira. The race was stopped just after the two lead boats had gone past the finish line, with a great race up to that point between Thriftway and Exide, and now that brand new beautiful Exide boat is no more. It's on the bottom of the lake. As we pick up the racing action on Lake Coeur d'Alene in the Diamond Cup, we're about set for the rerun of Heat 3. And in the meantime, we can tell you that our report from the hospital at Coeur d'Alene on Mira Slovak, who was injured in the accident which you saw, in the aftermath of which you saw. He's in the hospital at Coeur d'Alene. His injuries are not too serious. He has severe facial lacerations and has gone into surgery for the facial lacerations. However, as we hear the 1-minute gun, we can report that Slovak's condition is rated satisfactory. He was looked at by Dr. Randy Pillow, who is the chairman of the Seafair race this year, and also a local doctor, Dr. Bud Barkley, and they are with him now. The rerun of Heat 3 is exactly an hour and a half after the original running of it, in which Mira Slovak was injured just after the completion of the first lap. So here we go. We have Thriftway, and logical winner. All Bill has to do, that is Bill Muncie in Thriftway, is finish the race, and he can win it. His points are such. Fascination 1 is now the substitute boat in place of Miss Exide, which disintegrated and sank. Other boats still in it are Dollar Bill, Tempest, Tempo, and Notre Dame. And here they come down for the start. And it should be a legal start here, we hope. And in the lead, Dollar Bill, but coming up on the outside is Tempo to take the lead. And this time it's a legal start. It's Tempo on the outside, Dollar Bill on the inside, and two boats are hidden in the spray. Fascination is bringing up the rear, and there is so much in the way of rooster tail spray that I cannot identify the boats further at this time. We'll wait as they hit the first corner and start coming around it. Tempo made a good run to take the initial lead, and Tempo is still in the lead with Bob Schroeder driving. Coming along in second place is Dollar Bill. In third place is Tempest. Then Notre Dame. Then Miss Thriftway. And Fascination, if Fascination is still in the field. But going up the backside on lap 1, it is Tempo. And doing a good job of it. Running second is Norm Evans in Dollar Bill. There's a boat coming up hard in the spray on the outside in third position now to challenge for second, and doing a pretty fair job of getting up there. We can't identify the boat as they go through that glimmer of the late afternoon sun on Lake Coeur d'Alene. But up at the head end of the race, it's still Tempo with Bob Schroeder driving in first place. Norm Evans is charging pretty well with Dollar Bill. The second and third place race is quite a one, and it is Tempo that is running in that close third position. Chuck Hickling in Tempest. Tempo number 1 and Tempest number 3, not to confuse those boats too much. Coming off the corner, Bob Schroeder in Tempo still has the lead. And he's opened up a little more of a gap now. Tempo holding the margin out there and squared away and getting a pretty good ride on that boat. Now you can see there's going to be a pretty good race for second and third. On the outside will be Dollar Bill, and on the inside, Tempest. Across the line goes Tempo. In second place, Dollar Bill. In third place, Tempest. And in fourth place will be Notre Dame. And running fifth, and not having to run any more than that, is Bill Muncy and the probable winner, Miss Driftway. And Bob Gilliam in Fascination is running sixth. That's it. Starting to string out a little bit more. We've completed one lap. And Bob Schroeder with Tempo is still the lead boat. He's being pursued by Norm Evans in Dollar Bill, which is the best we've seen that boat run. And coming up hard on him is Chuck Hickling in Tempest. And Chuck wants to make a good run now at Norm Evans. They're almost head and head as they start up the backside, the race for second and third. Tempo has opened up a 700 or 800 foot lead. And it's still Dollar Bill running second on the outside, Tempest running third on the inside. It's very close between the two, though. Not much between them. Running in fourth spot is still Notre Dame, and easily back there in fifth spot, just content to finish the race and win it, is Bill Muncy and Miss Driftway. A real good battle for second and third going on, though. Dollar Bill and Tempest each, incidentally, have the same number of points going into this heat, 469. So you'd have to say, I suppose, they're pretty evenly matched. Meantime, at the front end of things, coming off the corner, last buoy, the exit buoy, Bob Schroeder swings right in close, gets straightened away for the run down the home chute. This is the Tempo, the boat that has 4 seats for 4 people, and it's got kind of a plastic cover affair over the 3 seats not occupied. Tempo will be in first place, and here he comes across the line now. And a real good race for second and third. Tempest is now second, and Dollar Bill is third. And Norm Evans and the pilot of Tempest, Chuck Hickling, are really having a do. Way back in fourth place, just crossing the line now. We're not following him, is Warner Gardner in the Notre Dame. But our camera is following the lead end. Tempo is still in the lead. Tempest is still running second, having taken over on the home chute, that second position. And I'm looking for Dollar Bill. I've either lost Dollar Bill in the spray or else he's gone dead. I can't tell you for the moment. But still up the backside, running number 1 spot is Tempo. And they're head and head. That's why I couldn't see him. They're dead even going up the backside for second and third. Tempest on the inside, and on the outside, Norm Evans and Dollar Bill. And Tempest has a little more soup to it, and he goes ahead for a slender lead. This could be one of the better contests of the 2-day racing program. Tempo out in the lead. Remember that all this while, Bill Muncy, running in 5th spot in Miss Driftway, just has to finish the race, and he is the cinch winner because of the previous points he has accumulated. He had 800 on 2 first-place finishes. Now he's content not to push his equipment, wants to make sure he finishes the 5 laps. They're on lap 3 right now, with Tempo still in the lead, but those second and third place boats in their own race have pulled up on Tempo and may give a challenge for first here pretty quick. Tempo on the run for home. Bob Schroeder, the driver, big genial fellow, and that second and third place race is still a doozer. On the inside, the white boat, Tempest, and on the outside, Norm Evans and Dollar Bill. And they are very evenly matched. Evans trying to pull up, and they're both pulling up little by little on the leader, Schroeder and Tempo. So it could be a 1-2-3 boat race among those 3. Coming along in 4th spot, way behind, we're not following him now, is Colonel Warner Gardner. And in 5th is still Miss Driftway with Muncy, the probable winner, the odds-on favorite. Up at the lead, Tempo still has it. And Dollar Bill and Tempest are just about dead even again as they start to come out of that corner and move away on the back chute. They're catching up, too. Hickling and Tempest is having a pretty good run at Tempo. And Tempest starts to almost get up in the rooster tail, but now Tempo pulls away a bit more. And I believe Dollar Bill is hidden in the rooster tail of Tempest, and he's about 100 feet behind. It's still a 3-boat race. This is lap 4 of the 5-lap third heat. The boat that's going to win it all is not even in contention in this heat. Miss Driftway just tooling around easily, and Bob Gilliam, by the way, is going to come by us in a moment. He's in the Fascination 1, which will finish the race out, it looks like. He's in 6th spot and just now completing his 3rd lap. 3/4 of a lap behind the leaders. Now the They start to get the green flag out, signaling one more lap for the three boats that will come down at you here in a moment. On the inside and still in the lead is Tempo with Bob Schroeder. And look at Chuck Hickling come up on the outside. It's really a three-boat race, one of the best we've seen. Norm Evans on the extreme outside, closest to us. Hickling has gone into the lead in Tempest for the first time. It's Tempest, Dollar Bill, and Tempo in that order. And there was a blanket finish at the end of that lap. One more lap to go, so hang on to your hats, everybody. We finally got some great racing action. You'd hate to pick a winner now. It's obviously premature. Wait till they come out of this turn. It's an important part of it. Chuck Hickling pokes his nose out of the spray first. He's the leader, and Tempo has lost a lot of ground on this turn. Dollar Bill is hanging in there on the outside. And let's see what happens. It's a two-boat race now. Dollar Bill on the outside, going up the back chute, and Tempo on the inside. Nose and nose, shoulder to shoulder. That is one boat race, and Tempo has fallen back badly and may now have to be content with a third-place finish. They're both coming up, about to make a run at lapping the sixth-place boat, Fascination 1. Look at them go up the backside, and now Tempest puts on a burst of speed, and Hickling passes Evans, and you cannot see Dollar Bill now in the rooster tail spray. As they go into the turn, looks like Tempest will lap Fascination 1, and so will Dollar Bill. There they go past. It's Tempest still in first place. One of the best driving jobs we've seen Chuck Hickling do. Norm Evans is his old self once again. He's back up there head and head, but Tempest is on the inside. This is the run for home. This decides it all, and it can go either way. There they come off the exit buoy. They're straightened away for the final run. This is it. And Tempest, on the inside, has poked its nose in front, but I wouldn't count anything yet. This is all of it. This is the whole heat. Although Thriftway will win the race, this heat battle is a great one, and Tempest is going to do it with Norm Evans a close second in Dollar Bill. The third-place finisher should be Tempo, as Tempo comes down about to lap Bob Gilliam on Fascination 1. He won't quite make the lapping, as Gilliam Fascination finishes lap 4, and Tempo with Bob Schroeder, the leader for a good portion of the race, finishes his 5th lap. We still have Notre Dame to finish, and then the race winner to finish, Miss Thriftway. And Bill Muncie and Miss Thriftway is going to come close to the barge and salute everybody out here. This will be the overall race winner. Here it is, Miss Thriftway, the Diamond Cup champion. So we had them finish this way. Tempest, with Chuck Hickling doing a tremendous job of come-from-behind driving, worked his way up from third to second and finally finished first. Dollar Bill was second, then third, and then finally finished second. That great head-to-head racing. Third place went to Tempo after setting a fine pace. The fourth-place finisher in the heat was Notre Dame, and Miss Thriftway finished 5th in the heat. Fascination still has a half a lap or more to go to finish out. We assume Bob Gilliam will. But Miss Thriftway wins the race with 800 points plus her 5th place finish. It's going to be more than enough. Your second place finisher is Tempest overall. In other words, Tempest needed that win over Dollar Bill to get the overall second place finish. Dollar Bill, we'll check and see how the finish is going to go. It's going to be very close between Tempest, Dollar Bill, and Tempo. Figuring out the points. There it is. Dollar Bill will be 3rd. Tempo will be 4th. And I presume that Notre Dame will be 5th. It had 400 points going in, and with the 4th place finish, that should get it in ahead of the other boat in the race, Fascination. But Bill Muncie with Thriftway is the winner, the Diamond Cup champion. And we can only say it's a shame about the hard luck of such boats as Bardol and Gale 5, and especially Miss Exide, which is no longer a racing machine. Miss Exide, the major portion of it is on the bottom of Lake Coeur d'Alene, and Mira Slovak, injured seriously but not critically, is in the hospital for facial surgery, severe facial lacerations. But he is in satisfactory condition and presumably will be all right. Now, our Diamond Cup coverage, of course, hints to us that we should say something about our Seafair race coverage. And, of course, Channel 5 will have that to a T, beginning the week after next. So be with us for coverage of the Seafair race. The time trials with 3 half-hour shows a day, Tuesday through Friday of race day, coverage as it happens on Saturday, and continuous coverage from 11:30 a.m. on Seafair Race Day, August 11th. Our crew over here has included camera work by Ted Simpson. Our producer-director has been Kit Spear. And now this is Rod Belcher reminding you the winner again was Miss Thriftway with 2 first-place finishes and just a necessary 5th in the final heat. That wraps up our coverage of the Diamond Cup from Coeur d'Alene, Idaho.